So let's go ahead and design our PCB next. So the first thing I want to do is click up here and we're going to choose Rat's Nest, no placement routing, and allow me to customize the PCB layout. For the shape of our board, rectangle is fine, but I'm going to specify a size here, so we'll go for 5 inches by 5 inches. And then next, all our components are listed here, they're going to be placed for us, and they look all okay. So we'll go next, we're going to go for standard, and then we don't want to place the components automatically on the board, so we'll just click next and then convert. So here I have my board and all the components you can see down here at the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all my components and we'll just move them up to the top of the board to start off with. So just drag them up there to the top, and then I'm just going to reposition the whole lot just over near the top of my page here. And now we can start adding all our components and placing them in the correct place. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this terminal block here. Now we're not actually going to have a terminal block in our circuit. We're going to solder our 9-volt supply directly to the board, but they're quite useful just for the planning stage. So I'll just rotate that so that's horizontal. I'll have that down at the bottom there. And that terminal block, positive from there, is going to connect straight up to my buzzer. That's one of the first components I'm going to place. So let's just zoom this all in here so I can see this a little bit better. Now at the moment the view I've got is populated. I'm just going to change that to unpopulated, and that'll allow me to more clearly see where all the tracks are going to be placed. So there we go, I'm going to place that buzzer more or less in a line with my terminal block. There we go. And then I can run a rail up from the positive and then across there. Now we have these little green lines that show us which part of which component needs connecting to the others, and we just want to remove that one there now because I've connected that up using a proper track, so I'm just going to delete that there. So now I need to figure out which component to place next, and at the moment we've got a bit of a sort of mess of stuff around here. I'm not quite sure where that's connecting up to because all my components have these annoying little labels on that sort of get in the way. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to delete all these labels by clicking on them and then hitting the delete key. So we can get rid of those labels, we don't need them, we know what our components are, and we can put in extra labels ourselves later. So that's all the components labelled, and now I can see a bit more clearly that that buzzer, the negative part of the buzzer, connects up to this transistor over here. So that's the next component I want to put into my board. So I'm just going to move this over closer to the buzzer, and we want that just to the right of the buzzer really. And then what I think I'll do is with that placed there, I'll go ahead and grab my second transistor and I'm going to bring that one down so that the emitter of that second transistor is in a line with the base of the first one that I placed. So the next component I'm going to get is this terminal block here, and again this is going to be removed later, but this is meant to represent the contacts where our fingers are going to go. So that's the contact where you place your finger to allow a little bit of current through. We're going to turn that so it's horizontal, and I'm going to push it over to the left a little bit so it's just beneath my transistors, and so it lines up with the base of that second transistor like that. And that all looks good for now. So that's looking pretty good so far. We've got a little bit of confusion over here with these resistors, so I'll drag this resistor over to the left here, so it's clear what that connects to. Just turn it horizontally and push that in so it's in a line between the buzzer and the transistor. I've just got one more resistor and one more LED to place. So let's bring this resistor down here, just select that resistor. I'm going to bring it down over here, and And then it's just going to need turning horizontally, and then I can move it up a little bit up here so that those wires are all crossing over each other. So now my LED, that's causing some problems. I've got some green lines crossing. Let's just turn my LED a little bit so I can see a little bit clearer what's going on. So there we go, I've got one leg of the LED connecting up to the transistor here, and my other leg of the LED is going to connect over to that resistor. So I'm going to place my LED over in this little gap I've left here. And now I've just got one little problem here, which is that the LED is connected up perfectly, but I've got the transistor connecting to that negative of the terminal block. I'm going to need to route that line in between the legs of that LED. I've also got the cross there between that terminal block and the resistor. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to run a line from there, and it's going to go around the outside of all the components and in, and that will avoid the crossing over there. So I think we're ready to go ahead and start placing our copper tracks. Let's run one horizontally between the buzzer and the resistor, and then we'll do that when it zips around the outside here, and then into where my finger contacts are. So that's going there. So now I can go ahead and remove that green line there. Right click on it and delete, and this one here, right click and delete. Okay, let's lay some more copper tracks now. So let's connect up the resistor to the collector of that transistor, base there, and the emitter to that transistor. And this resistor down here needs connecting up to there. Go ahead and delete some more of these green lines. Right then, let's run a copper track between those transistors. Where else? Between the buzzer and the LED. Delete the green lines again, just to make it a little bit tidy. Now we'll connect up our LED to our transistor. So copper track, just go from there up to the right, and then delete that track, delete that wire. Connecting up our transistor to our terminal block now, so down there. So the next thing I need to do is connect up my LED to this resistor here. So I'm just going to run a copper track. We'll come down from that LED leg and then down into the resistor there. And then the last thing to do is to connect up the negative of the power supply to that transistor. And I'm going to do that by going in between the legs of that LED. Now to do that, I just need to right click on my board, or just off the board, and I need to change the grid snap values to 0.025 and then zoom in here. So now I can see my board much clearer, and now I can come down from the transistor there between the legs of the LED and connect up to that negative terminal block. And that is the PCB more or less completed.